Hello and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Monday, the 27th of April. I'm your host Daniel, and today we're going to talk about Russia and North Korea have agreed to a long-term military cooperation, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, and Iran gives the US a new proposal to end the war. So firstly, two senior Russian politicians visited North Korea over the weekend and inaugurated a memorial to North Korean troops who have died fighting against Ukraine. They also negotiated a new defense cooperation agreement that is set to run until 2031. The two countries' military, political, and economic cooperation has intensified due to Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, with Pyongyang offering military support to Moscow, not least to push Ukrainian forces back outside of the Kursk region. Moscow and Pyongyang had already signed a mutual defense deal in 2024 amid the meeting between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin in Pyongyang in June that year. So what? While this deal will almost certainly help Russia in Ukraine, it's unlikely to be a decisive change. There's nothing really at this point that North Korea could give Russia that would change the battlefield significantly outside of, say, 1 million soldiers. And the use of North Korean troops in rear echelon activities such as logistics and artillery support does free up Russians for assault operations, but is not a good long-term solution as they cannot stay there indefinitely. It's definitely something to watch out for and keep an eye on, but I don't think it's going to be decisive in this war. And next, the shooting at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday night was an attempted assassination on President Donald Trump and other members of his administration, the White House has said. Caroline Leavitt, the US press secretary, said on social media that they were hijacked by a depraved, crazy person who sought to assassinate their president and kill many top Trump officials. She described Trump as truly fearless and echoed the president's desire that political violence needs to end. Meanwhile, Democratic lawmakers who attended the dinner have said that he hopes that the incident sparks a bipartisan conversation around public safety in the United States. So what? It's a very crazy situation and sadly shows the level of political polarization within the United States. And sadly, I do think it's likely to happen more. It's something that's going to be extremely hard to stop as due to the high levels of gun ownership and lack of gun control within the US. It's very easy for lone wolves such as this guy to get hold of them, and they're extremely hard to identify in the build up to their attacks, as they can essentially do it in isolation without the need of contacting networks or doing anything else that would alert them to the security services. So yeah, it's kind of a scary situation for politics in the US. And lastly, Iran gave the United States a new proposal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the war, as reported by the Axios media organization. The proposal involves postponing nuclear negotiations until a later stage. Iran's proposal, given to the United States through Pakistan's mediators, focused on solving the crisis over the strait first. The newspaper reported that Washington had received the proposal, but it was unclear if it intended to explore it. This comes after US President Donald Trump scrapped his envoy's visit to Islamabad, saying that Iran could reach out if they wanted to negotiate to end the war. So what? I think it's possible that the US may be open to this type of agreement due to the straits reopening being a high priority to them. However, I think doing so would be a massive hit to Trump's credibility, both domestically and internationally. So it's possibly something he might not go for purely on that reasoning. And it seems likely that Trump is stuck between a war and a shit deal at this point of time. I think it's likely that the US is hoping that when Iran gets close to running out of oil storage, they may be more willing to negotiate, as from what I understand, if they do turn off their oil pumps, they may never be able to turn them back on. So that kind of gives them a deadline, which I believe would probably be around a week at this point. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens there. But anyway, that's been the Intel Brief. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you.